are shining bright on the ranch as usual. The highlight of my week is here. Now, Amy Rowbottom was scheduled to sit with me today, but she had a family emergency earlier on and she contacted me. And I got to thinking, I've been wanting to do this for a long time. I get a lot of submissions. And the first question I have to answer is this Americana and country? Because that's the focus of the show. And I have to tell you, it's not an easy discussion this day because country music is so wide open. And there's a lot of controversy inside country music. It's kind of the old school versus the modern country music. Or what is country music? There's country rap, there's country blues, there's all kinds of country. And so every time I get a submission, I have to ask myself, do I think this fits? Open thing tonight, I thought, you know what? I've had this discussion. So I'm going to bring in one of the people I really respect in the industry that I can have this conversation with. And this is the person who's kind of one of the brains behind our platform, Blast Music 24/7. He's a DJ, he's a producer, he's like all things music and has been keeping his eye and finger on the pulse of things for quite some time. So I thought he'd be a really great person to bring in. We're going to review tunes. And I'm hoping, Billy's here with me right now, hanging out. I expect some comments back and forth because the question of the night is this a country tune? And we're going to look at some big classic heavy hitters, but without any, let's bring my comrade in arms tonight, my partner in crime, who's going to be D-Ray. Woo! Oh, you're still muted, D-Ray. You're used to running things.
Yeah, I'm used to running things, and I'm glad I was muted because I said welcome, and I'm like, wait a minute, I'm not the host tonight. I'm in the co-pilot seat. How are you?
I'm really, really good, and I'm really excited that at the last moment you were able to jump on the show with me. I really think it's going to be a fun one.
Hey, I'm just trying to earn my trip to Costa Rica. Inside joke. Inside joke.
I still have one more video coming out from Costa Rica. See what I did down there.
Anyway. But how are you? Yeah, it's time for some sun for both of us. We both need some vitamin D, I think. So yeah.
Oh yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. So
I gave you the topic for the night, and you jumped on it. I'm like, do you have suggestions of music that we're gonna play? And you were like, sending me things right on point with the topic. Now, this is an interactive platform, guys. I know there's a couple of you watching already. So we kind of expect some feedback here, an ongoing conversation to the what is country, what is Americana, what's falling under that umbrella, because it's heated out there and people have really strong opinions. But I had people on the shows, well, this is a country tune. And, and then there are other people that, okay, I cross genres. This might be a country tune, that type of thing. But where I thought we'd start with a classic country tune.
Oh, boy.
We're going to do it, D-Ray. We're going there.
Here we go. Wait a minute.
Drink your water. Deep breath.
Let's do it.
We're going to listen to the classic Jolene.
Mm-hmm.
It's been remade how many times? It's been a huge hit for how long? And once we talk about that, we're going to listen to Beyonce's new version of Jolene.
Oh, boy.
Asking the question, is this truly a country tune? Is this truly Dolly Parton's country tune?
Mm-hmm. This should prove to be an interesting question.
There's so much to talk about, like all over. And Billy's already like, oh boy. He's already like, yeah, here it comes.
Billy, I'm right there with you.
Little scared, little scared. So I want this fresh in your mind.
Mhm.
So let me start sharing my screen here. And I'm going to share. You see it?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, I hope you know what? I hope I shared sound. Let me go back.
Yeah,
And
just to be on the safe
okay,
side.
let me, oh, and I messed it up. Okay, so let me unshare for a second
Mm-hmm.
and make sure that I'm sharing sound. It goes right. Share
Yeah.
screen with sound. Oh, it's already on. Well, Jolene, here we go. Oh, no, okay.
I mean, first and foremost, the song is classic. Um, it's straight to the point, and in my opinion, it's one of the best songs, not just country, one of the best songs. And for me, the definition of that is a song that tells a story that has the story arc. There's the beginning, the middle, and the end. You know, and side note, I didn't know this until because I tend to do a little research before I jump on these things. This song was released October 15th, 1973. I was exactly 1 year old. My birthday is October 15th, 1972. So I was a year old. I was actually alive when this song came out. Wow. Um, yeah. So, and I love Dolly Parton's voice. I love how she can put emotion in her lyrical delivery. You know what I mean? And I think that that's what really resonated with a lot of people. You heard the desperation in her voice. You heard people really connected with that and felt that. So, yeah,
Now,
those are my initial impressions.
initial impressions. But again, this show is all about what is a country tune today,
Right,
right?
right.
This was released, no doubt, Dolly Parton country. What about it is making it, even today, a country song?
Number one, the use of live instruments. Um, Especially the southern guitar picking style, which is very banjo esque. That
Mm-hmm.
is reminiscent of Americana, Appalachian, southeastern style. Um, and yeah, the cadence, in my opinion, is country. There's a rhyme and there's a reason and there's a meter. And for me, country music has a certain meter that, you can't necessarily describe it, but you know when you hear it. For me, yeah,
And if you talk song structure,
absolutely.
it is structured like an old classic. There's no booming pre chorus.
That is correct.
It's verse, chorus, which is a quintessential country song.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay.
And if you look at it, the song was only 2.5 minutes long, which at that time was perfect for AM radio because this was really before the FM craze. So this was on AM country stations, 2.5 minutes. So yeah, and you get in there, you tell the story, you convey your opinion, and you move on. So yeah.
Right. Right. And the production, and you picked it up. It's a
Mhm.
live instruments. Nashville has a certain way of recording.
Absolutely. That's right.
And they still, some of them, the big stars have gone away from that. It's
Hmm.
but if you go down to Nashville to some of the studios, you're gonna rehearse with, you have an hour to like rehearse and an hour to perform it. Now all the
Hmm.
instruments are playing at once,
Hmm.
and like really nowhere else does that.
Right. Yeah, and
You know,
you could just imagine back in 1970, early 1973, late 72, her being in the studio with an actual band of musicians, actually rehearsing, actually doing this in a couple of takes or less. You know
Right.
what I mean? Not a whole lot of overdubs, not a whole lot of harmonizations, nothing. It's just a vocalist with the band knowing her stuff. And I might add, years and decades before auto tune. So if the note was flat, she re-sang it until it wasn't, you know. So
Right. Right. Where today's recordings, you go in one instrument at a time, you take a few cuts, it tracks, and then the producer works magic. You
absolutely.
know, you know, um,
Hmm.
it's a very forgiving process.
Right.
Um, uh, but there's a certain creativity with that too. Um, but
You
we can
know,
get we'll
I'm
get to that.
yeah,
Oh, go ahead.
I'm gonna push back a little bit on the forgiving process because it's almost like in some instances it's almost like the old Wizard of Oz movie, you know, today's recording process. The whole big production creates the whiz, but then you go and see this person at a live show and you realize, oh, it's just some old man sleeping in a cot. This ain't the real whiz, you know. So I think in the when this song was first recorded, musicians actually had to play. Singers had to actually know how to sing, you know. And these days, unfortunately, that's not the case.
Right, right. I think what I meant by unforgiving, you don't have to be the best guitar player.
That is true. Unfortunately, that is true.
You're going to be auto-tuned, auto-corrected guitar players, whatever you do.
Right.
Um, the more you have to be so good because again, it takes time in the studio to do that, and time is money. I
Hmm.
prefer to bring studio musicians in,
Hmm.
and rather than I have a different band for live productions for when I
Right.
play,
Right. Right.
because it's a different process.
Right.
But um,
But also, my pedigree is psychoacoustics, meaning that while I do use electronic instruments because I am a musician and because I am somewhat classically trained, I know what an instrument is supposed to sound like. Therefore, if I am producing something, you'd never know it wasn't a real instrument that I wasn't, I'm using. Unfortunately, a lot of producers aren't like that. And so it does kind of come off a little stale and a little artificial, in my
yes,
opinion.
yes, and
Mhm.
I understand the need for that. It's expensive to record, and nowadays they want you cranking out tunes,
Absolutely.
and it is causing its own problems
Hmm.
because the musicianship is going down.
Yep.
And people are like, somebody sent me a track today. They're like, what do you think? And all I could say was, this song has possibilities. He's like, and then he's like, oh, I'm gonna add Hammond guitar, Hammond organ, and I was like, oh my god.
Mm-hmm.
My response was, it might sound a little dated.
Very true. Very true. But
That's
if
all I
that's
can.
your lane, that's your lane. But yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
Mm.
and he's not. It's not a. I was surprised he said Hammond organ. I'm surprised he wanted keyboards at all because he's an old school country guy, and maybe
Mm.
he's trying to be more modern. I don't know. We'll get there when we talk about the Beyonce version.
True.
But it's like Hammond organ, country music. Well,
I'm trying to think. Um, yeah, I don't know about that. But yeah. Who am I? I don't know. I don't really recall a B3 in a lot of the country hits. But I could be overlooking something. So hey.
you know what? Like it showed up in the 70s and the 80s. Like
Mhm.
you had this cheesy, and they were trying to be cheesy organ sounds, and you know, it's there.
Yeah, yeah. So who am I to judge?
Well, they asked my opinion, so
Yeah, so yeah, exactly. But yeah, I don't know about that one.
yeah, I had to couch that one.
Mm,
So, okay, so Jolene has led the charge, rightfully so, as a quintessential upbeat country song. The
very true.
passion there, live instruments are there, the country music structure is there,
Hmm.
and a lot of artists have tried to emulate that. and
Very
covered
true.
it. And there's a Miley Cyrus who did it live with Dolly Parton and killed it.
Very
It
true.
was really, really good.
Very true.
So all of a sudden, I guess for me it was all of a sudden because I wasn't paying attention.
Mm-hmm.
Beyonce, who's just talented. I mean, there's no doubt
Very
about
true.
it. She's
Yeah.
talented. I mean, the girl can write, sing, dance.
Mm-hmm.
She's got a head for business. She resembles Dolly Parton in a lot of respects.
I agree. I agree.
Which is why I was surprised when she came out with when somebody changes genres that dramatically.
Mm-hmm.
Certain artists have done it. Darius Rucker,
Mm-hmm.
Jewel.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it didn't seem like it was that big of a transition. Elle King had me surprised.
Mm-hmm.
Had me surprised.
Mm-hmm.
But I was surprised when Beyonce said she's going country. She's going to put out a country album.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of reasons for that because country music's so wide open right now.
Very true.
And she did Texas Hold'em. You know, she had a lot of songs, but I don't think any one of them has sparked as much controversy as her version of Jolene.
I'm pretty sure that your listeners would need to hear this to know what we're talking about. But yeah, I definitely have been made aware of the controversy.
All right. So, listeners out there, I want your feedback. I know there are a couple of you out there. We are now going to do the Beyonce. Of course, here I am sharing screen with sound. Share. We're there. You see it?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, now, and for the people watching, what I did on purpose was I used 2 lyric videos.
Right.
Because the lyrics are quite important here.
Very true.
Now, let's take this as systematically as we possibly can.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is Beyonce's version. Let's start with the similarities column.
Okay.
Similarities and differences, and then we'll bring it together.
Right. Right.
You know, again. And my overall question is this a country tune? Now, Jolene is a country tune. This version is very, very different. What makes it similar to the original Jolene?
Okay, so in my opinion, at least in the beginning, towards the end, it goes on a tangent. But in the beginning, there are country elements. There is the guitar picking. There is very simple, vocal delivery. Her register is a lot. Is something that I'm unaccustomed to hearing. The key that her voice is in. The cadence, the country cadence is a little bit there, but that's a bit touchy in my opinion. And that's just my producer side coming out. But so there are elements there, but I feel like this is going to evolve into one of those digital versus vinyl conversations wherein audiophiles always say, yeah, digital sounds great, but guess what? It's still a representation of a sound wave. It's not the real sound wave, and in my humble opinion, this is a representation of a country song. It's not necessarily a country song. It has country elements, but it's something else, in my opinion.
Oh, okay. Now, it's funny. My columns read as follows, as similarities to. The first thing I noticed was her vocal delivery. Again, very surprising. And I like her delivery. There is the emotion there. You can hear it, Right. My next column, I put guitar picking.
Yeah.
You heard it.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't a live instrument.
Mm.
We didn't hear it live. Again,
Mhm.
that's not uncommon for country, even modern country songs right there. So I'm not taking too much away on that.
Mm-hmm.
The beginning, the structure
Mm.
at the beginning,
Yes.
it was structured like a verse chorus country song.
Right. Yeah.
And then
It kind of went left. It's like, oh, okay. Yeah.
okay, well, Billy likes the style, fan of the style.
Hmm.
Okay. You know what? And we're jaded because we grew up, well, Billy is too,
Mm-hmm.
with this Jolene. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
trying to like clear the register and say, if you just heard this song, Jolene by Beyonce, would you think this was a country song?
Right.
And what elements are making it a country song?
Mm-hmm.
So again, there's other people watching. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. We're going to keep jabbering on. From an industry kind of point of view,
Pretty
because
much.
we're about to hit the differences column.
Mm.
You can go first.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I guess the big glaring difference that has everybody's underwear in a bunch is the fact that there is a lyric change and there is a different tone of the song,
The
which
tone.
yeah,
Okay.
which I think probably lends to the argument that this is a country element pop song because the message is different. You know, traditional country music, in my opinion, deals with really raw human emotions. And a lot of times I feel like the country music of the early 70s and sometimes somehow in some cases into the 80s, there was a lot of desperation. There was a lot of the damsel in distress. There was a lot of, the helpless woman who has to find a way to survive in the midst of perilous circumstances, and
Well, it's very stereotypical.
yeah, right,
Women were stereotyped. We're kind of weak. We're kind of helpless.
right,
That is the tone of Jolene.
right,
You're a woman too. Look, we've been together for a while. You're
right,
prettier than me. I need this guy. You
right,
know,
right. Please,
Beyonce,
please,
Beyonce,
hands off. Don't. Yeah, right.
Beyonce's message is not that.
No, Beyonce's message is, "I will do prison time." that, that is, in a nutshell.
Girl, bring it because I'm packing here. And her official lyric, not this was a lyric video. It was kind of tame, but her
Mhm.
official video, man, she's guns blazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know,
And
I
so
mean,
so I think that is really the tone. I mean, if you think about it, uh that whole idea, first and foremost, the idea was not true then, right? It was just kind of something that was perpetuated by a male dominated industry. But it's certainly not applicable now, right?
not with Beyonce. Anyway, I'm not sure. I don't
Not
know if that's true of all female artists.
mm,
We still struggle. The fact that Beyonce has risen above it to a large extent, and she's just bringing it forward.
right. And that's not to say that Beyonce is above any type of adversity or things. I mean, if people follow along with Beyonce's bio and her timeline, I mean, she's had her share of relationship issues, if you will. That being said, there is no victim. There's no victim showcasing in this version. There is more of an aggressor that there will be consequences if you cross the line, Jolene. And it gives someone a moment of pause. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Yeah, it does. There is an aggressive edge to this.
Hmm.
that isn't present in Dolly Parton's.
Mhm.
So I saw, and also there were straight vocals in Dolly Parton's version. And here you're hearing some echoes,
Yeah.
and they start kind of early, and
Mhm.
then all of a sudden you have this bridge where it's almost a call and response.
Mhm.
Um, which is again something, an added element
Mhm.
to it.
Mhm. Mhm.
They're having, they're highlighting some kind of, dialogue, some kind of inner dialogue that they're kind of
Right.
bringing. And to me, what stands out, I do a lot of writing,
Mhm.
I for publishing. And
Mhm.
one time I sent this to somebody for a paper I was working on to be published for an edit.
Mhm.
He came back with all this red ink, and he wanted me to rearrange and add this and this. And I'm like, you're an editor.
Mm.
This
Mhm.
is my work.
Right.
Thanks for the suggestions, but you're rewriting.
Mhm.
And you're not
Mhm.
getting a writing credit. So,
Right.
no thanks. Is this a rewrite? I mean, she changed the chorus.
I think saying it's a rewrite is a little bit problematic for me in that, um say for instance, I'm trying to think of a song where, like, if you're doing a cover song and the original version is talking from a woman's perspective and a man is covering the song,
Okay.
it is generally, unless that's the arena that they're in, they're going to flip the genders when they're singing the song. So
Okay.
instead of singing about another man, they're going to flip it and say it's about a woman, and vice versa. Um, in this particular case, I really feel like that she is reinterpreting the lyric to match what today's woman would, how a woman in 2024 would approach someone who is getting a little bit too close to their preferred mate. And so I think that that's kind of, in my opinion, that's what it is, because I don't think, and y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think Beyonce got writer's credit for the song. I just think
No,
she just,
she
right,
totally credited Dolly Parton.
right.
It's a brilliant move on
Mhm.
Dolly Parton.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I
Brilliant.
think,
Because
yeah,
now people are listening to her song, listening to their song, listening to her song,
I mean,
all the way to the bank, people. It was brilliant.
look, no, there's no danger of Dollywood going out of business anytime soon.
Yeah,
Um,
right?
mm,
Right. Go
but yeah,
Dolly, go.
I mean, really, and we were talking about this before the podcast started. I mean, think about, Dolly Parton has had two of the biggest stars in music ever to cover her songs. Now, don't get me wrong, she's had plenty of people cover her songs. She's even gone on record to say Jolene is her most covered song by everybody, from Miley Cyrus to Pentatonics did a cover that actually won her a Grammy when the original didn't win her a Grammy in 73, right? Um so I think the only person that doesn't really have anything negative to say would be Dolly Parton. She
Right.
had,
Everyone else is like in hysterics. I mean,
exactly, and I mean, she has actually gone on record. They interviewed her in People magazine, and Dolly said, "Well, Beyonce wasn't going to beg some woman like she did. Don't steal my man. Explicative. Get out of here. Explicative. You ain't stealing mine." And that's pretty much Dolly Parton's interpretation of what Beyonce did, and I don't think she had a problem with it at all. Um, yeah,
oh, okay. I'm wearing a counselor hat now, so forgive me.
absolutely. No, you're fine.
Um, I've had girls in my office, and they're talking about a guy,
Mhm.
and they want to throw down and go after this girl.
Mhm.
And my conversation has to be, where's the guy in all of this?
Right.
What's the point of fighting? So I don't know. This modern message, grab a gun and shoot someone, like throw down. Really, my heart hurts.
Well,
You
well,
know,
think,
I
well, think of,
would be happier if Beyonce capped her boyfriend. I really would. I capped him in the butt for being a flirt and a cheat. Why don't we hold these guys accountable?
well,
I'm
well,
sorry. I'm done now.
first and foremost, let me say, uh, this has nothing to do with me. So please, I'm good over here. Ain't nobody busting in the cap and D-Ray over in my house. However, if you go back and you look at the history of the song, Dolly Parton said that one of the inspirations of the song was that there was a bank teller that was flirting with her husband um, while he was going in the bank to handle business, right? So it's not necessarily that and there's no record of whether or not the flirting worked, but I believe Dolly Parton got a little irked by it.
Mm,
And this was kind of the crux of the song. And I think that what this says nowadays is I'm not going to be just silently aggravated and I'm going to write a song begging you not to interrupt my happy home. I'm going to warn you there will be bloodshed if you interfere in my home these days. And you know, I don't know what the gentleman's involvement in that would be, but my advice would be don't be anywhere around when it goes down because you might catch one too. So I
Man,
don't know.
stand him in the middle. I mean, and guys fight over girls too.
Mhm.
32 years of working with adolescents,
Absolutely, yeah,
adults don't handle relationships much better, despite my efforts.
very
Um,
true.
but the logical side of me, and I've been cheated on. Man, it hurts. Oh my god!
Mhm.
But going after the person that's cheated, I tried to put blame where it should be.
Very true.
I mean, she shouldn't. She should know he's in a relationship or something like that. But
Hmm.
maybe lie, maybe whatever.
Right, right.
Um,
And
but
we live in a different time now where you have a large group of people who are targeting a very, very small percentage of men, you know. And what I mean by that is if you think about the percentage of multimillionaires, professional people, professional athletes, or musicians, or famous people, it's a very, very small percentage. And there are a lot of women, unfortunately, who will cast aside any red flags for that security
mm,
and will not attack the man who, in their opinion, well, I guess this is just, him, that man being a man or whatever. They will attack those who are attacking their quality of life. And
yeah,
I'm not saying that's right. I'm just kind of saying, in my humble opinion, that's kind of where this song is kind of rooted for me.
yeah. To your point, I mean, even the original Jolene, she's desperate to keep that man.
Absolutely. Right.
She
Right.
never raises the question of, he's in the wrong too, you
Mm-hmm.
know,
Mm-hmm.
and neither does Beyonce.
Right.
So again, let's go, dial back a little bit. We're talking about, is this a country song? You say it's a representation of a country pop song.
I'm gonna say it is a pop song that is a representation of country. That's what I'm gonna say.
Okay. It reinterprets the lyrics. Um, it takes liberties with vocals,
Mm-hmm.
adding, and I could see that in modern times, with having a lot more harmonies and things like that. I think a lot of people have issue with changing a chorus,
Mm-hmm.
you know. You go the Jolene, 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 and you expect to sing along, and you got to relearn a chorus here.
But also, I'm going to go ahead and put this out there, and and people out there in ranch land, don't jump on me. I'm just a messenger. Because
It's
I
like
know
that. Comments away.
yeah, right. So
Comment
because,
away, guys.
yeah, because I know a little bit about Beyonce's history and about her business motivation, she never does anything for just doing it. There's a message and there's a reason behind it. And then, so in my opinion, in the last half of the song, where it turns into more of a gospel infused song,
Yeah, the call and response, the
right, that is her sending a signal that she is not an artist who is attempting to overtake or take over country music. She is an artist who is revisiting country music, because country music is in the Black artist origin. It's in our origins.
where's she from? Where's she
And
from?
she's from Houston, Texas, number
She's
one.
a Texas girl.
Exactly. And number two, there is this idea that country music is a predominantly white genre. And there is this sort of myth that anytime someone that is non-white does the genre, that they are kind of being interlopers. And I think what Beyonce's message is, it's like, no, we are part of the origin of country music. Let me remind you. So at the end of the song, there are at least 3 or 4 elements that she's attempting, and her producers are attempting to combine. There's a little blues. If you listen to the chord structure, there is call and response, the gospel. There's a little bit of R&B and hip hop if you listen to some of the ad libs. You know
Yeah,
what I
the
mean?
ad lib is definitely,
Absolutely right.
definitely.
And
The
so,
background vocals, that's what we mean by the ad lib, guys. You
right,
listen to those kind of, you hear like a ghost vocal there.
exactly. And so to me, and because I listen to music a little differently than the average person, that to me sent a message, and I know the message, and I believe I know the message that she was trying to send. So, that being said, I still don't think it's a traditional country song, but I dig what she tried to do with it, and the most important person, Dolly Parton, digs it as well. And whether she digs it for the music or she digs it for the paycheck, who knows? But yeah.
Do we have time for one more? Do we have one time? But this is going along the lines of, is this a country song?
Mm-hmm.
Do we have one? Do we have time for Morgan Wallen?
Why not? And what did Billy just say in the comments? She's bringing in the sheep. Yeah, towards the end, she really is.
Well put, Billy.
Yeah.
Well put. And again, the mission of the ranch is to show people that country music is everywhere. And good music, and it's kind of bending the limits a little bit. So let's listen again. Morgan Wallen. Do we consider him a country artist?
Oh boy.
Mama, K-Son at it again.
We used to chase that Chattanooga freight. Couple of kids in a Chevrolet. Catch a little air when we cross the tracks. Sipping on something from a paper stack. You hang your shirt on that maple lamp. Slipping through the moon to the river bend. Wasn't very long, I was jumping in. I guess I'm still doing now what I was doing then. Chasing you like a shot of whiskey. Burning, going down. Chasing you like those goodbye tail lights. Headed Headed west to anywhere out of this nowhere town. Chasing that freedom, chasing that feeling that got gone too soon. Chasing that you and me, I only see in my review. Yeah, I'm laying here tonight holding someone who's still chasing you. Still chasing you.
It was a clear black night, a clear white moon. Warren G was on the streets trying to consume some skirts for the eve so I could get some phones. Rolling in my ride, chilling all alone.
Just hit the east side of the LBC on a mission trying to find Mr. Warren G. Seen a car full of girls, ain't no need to tweak. All of you skirts know what's up with 213.
So I hooked select on 21 and Lewis. Some brothers shooting dice, so I said, let's do this. I jumped out the ride and said, what's up? Some brothers pulled some gas, so I said, I'm
Since these girls peeping me, I'm gonna glide and swerve. These hookers looking so hard, they straight hit the curve. Want to bigger, better things than some horny tricks. I see my homie and some suckers all in his mix.
I'm getting jacked, I'm breaking myself. I can't believe they taking Warren's wealth. They took my rings, they took my Rolex. I looked at the brother, said, damn, what's next?
They got my homie hemmed up and they all around. Can't none of them see him if they going straight down for pound. They wanna come up real quick before they start to clown. I best pull out my strap and lay them busters down.
They got guns to my head, I think I'm going down. I can't believe it's happening in my own town. If I had wings, I would fly, let me contemplate. I glance in the cut and I see my homie Nate.
16 in the clip and 1 in the hole. Nate Dogg is about to make some bodies turn cold. Now they dropping and yelling, it's a tad bit late. Nate Dogg and Warren G had to regulate.
You always used to talk about LA. I heard you got as far as Santa Fe. The way you know I tried to track you down. I only got as far as Guitar Town. Singing about a girl I used to know. That I haven't given up, I'm just on your radio. Chasing you like a shot of whiskey. Burning, going down. Chasing you like those goodbye tail lights. Headed west to anywhere out of this nowhere town. Chasing that freedom, chasing that feeling that got gone too soon. Chasing that you and me, I only see in my review. Yeah, I'm laying here tonight holding someone who's still chasing you. Still chasing you.
Mama, K-Sun at it again.
What if you could do SEO?
Okay. I stopped sharing. Okay. We only have a few minutes left. We have 10 minutes left. And you guys came alive during this song. I mean, we were having some like cool comments coming in.
Wait a minute. I gotta take a bow that I am the first guest to bring gangster hip hop to the ranch. So I'm gonna tip my blast hat for that. But anyway, let's go.
Let's do this. Because again, we're breaking down boundaries and talking about modern country, modern Americana.
Right.
And there is a genre of country rap.
That is very true.
There is.
Is
this it?
This is close. This is still a pop song with country and hip hop elements. This is not a traditional country song. This is not a traditional hip hop song. In my opinion, this is one of those songs that it's really supposed to bring people together. But unfortunately, what it does also, it really shows the divisiveness of some people that really want to kind of keep us separate, that don't want us to be together, that just kind of want to, keep everybody in their own whatever. And so, yeah, no, this is not traditional country in my opinion, but I still think it works.
It's a cool song. It's got a cool vibe, and then you try to pigeonhole it and where you're marketing it to,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to look at. I mean, the twang is there. He's got
Yep.
this southern twang
Yeah, he
that
does.
almost says country music, like from the start. The chord structure is not country. He's
Mhm.
doing all these octave jumps and,
Mhm.
really playing hard with the melodies. It's
Mhm.
processed music. There's
Mhm.
nothing live or close to being live there.
Mhm.
Big smoke on board. Billy, you're a trip, Billy.
Mm.
You got an organ in there. You got this.
Mhm.
We talked about the Hammond organ, and
Mhm.
there, I was kind of like a Hammond organ. It was pretty close in there.
Right.
Live. I mean, but I think he did put this out country, if I'm not mistaken.
He did, and this was a remix that someone did during the pandemic when we were all sort of locked down, and it caught on so quickly that they decided to release it, I believe, as a single not too long ago, maybe a couple of years ago, I think. But a little bit of backstory. It's really mind bending when what I'm about to say. So just kind of follow along. The original song was called "I Keep Forgetting," which was originally recorded by Michael McDonald in 1982. Michael McDonald, this was his debut album after being with a band called the Doobie Brothers in the 70s, right? For a number of years. The Doobie Brothers had a blue-eyed soul slash blues slash rock sort of reputation. They did a lot of blues infused R&B, a lot of pop records. And so when he did his first solo record, of course, there was going to be some type of hybrid of that sound because that was the sound that a lot of people knew him from, right? Now, fast forward from 1982 to 1992, when the producers of the song from Warren G, they did a hip hop song called Regulators, which was one of the biggest hits of the 90s, right? They sampled I keep forgetting, which, hip hop does that a lot.
To Shamika's point, who's watching, not the
Right.
regulators.
Right, exactly. And so they sampled that and turned it into this huge hit, which Michael McDonald appreciated. Because like I said, it's a paycheck. So did I, Billy. Um, and so to have it reclaimed back into the blues country genre and sort of like this mashup to me sends this message of really there really shouldn't be any divisiveness because at the core of it we're kind of all the same, and we all have the same sort of roots. Because if you listen to his delivery, there are country elements, there are R&B elements, there are definitely hip hop elements, there's pop elements, there's you name it, even the cadence. And when I say cadence, in my definition, it is the delivery of the lyrics in every line. There is a rhythmic delivery, right? His delivery, and I'm talking about Morgan's delivery, is not traditional country if you
Right.
listen to it, right?
Definitely.
There is, and even the country release of that song, the cadence was not necessarily country. It was more generalized, more popish, and so yeah, there are a lot of elements in this song to me that scream this homogenous sort of country hybrid that resonates with a lot more people than just those in Nashville. But it also becomes a problem with a lot of people, including the people in Nashville, right?
Especially the people in Nashville
Mm-hmm.
who, again, it's their bread and butter, the way they record, the way they write, you
Mhm.
know, to kind of hang on to what they're calling the old country.
Right. And it's funny how you can say, we talked about the Beyonce once before. Oh, thanks, Billy. I appreciate it. We talked about Beyonce before. We talked about, the use of real instruments. This is really mind-blowing because guess what? The original song from Michael McDonald, those are real musicians. So the sample, it's like, okay, does it check off? Does it have real musicians playing? Yeah, kind of.
Kind of one at a time.
No, that's what I'm saying. The actual sample in 1982 when they recorded this was a group of musicians that went into a LA studio and laid this track. So they really weren't running the time. It was really an old school way of recording, music, that is. And one of the musicians, Greg Fillinganes, was responsible for a lot of Michael Jackson stuff in the 80s, right? So that's why one of the reasons I'm very, very familiar with people on this track. But it's kind of mind bending when you say, well, did real musicians play on it? Yeah, kind of. If I take a recording of real musicians and I copy it and I loop it and I make a song out of it, can you tell me that real musicians aren't playing? Or what are we saying? You get what I mean? And that's why it's kind of mind bending. So
It is. So just again, I want to thank everyone who's been tuning into the ranch tonight. This is a conversation that is to be continued. It is the start of a discussion, a dialogue, and we would definitely have D-Ray back when we have other episodes. We're reviewing music. D-Ray is one of the founders of Blast Music 24/7, which hosts my show, The Ranch. If you want to be on The Ranch, send me your tracks. We'll decide if they're country and Americana, and we'll bring you on the show. It's just randieoneal.com/shows, and there's a form to fill out. Send me a few videos, and we'll see what we can do about getting you on the show. But it has been really, really an interesting dialogue. I think everyone listening has some good things to say. I do believe Facebook is having trouble with comments. I've been hearing from people that we can't see the Facebook comments. So I'm going to go back through those and try to respond. So
I guess I'll try to respond as well. Facebook. That's a whole nother separate show. That's a whole another separate show in and of itself.
It's like the banality of evil.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't just seem to get away from it.
I get it. Yeah. Definitely. Sorry, Mark. Right. Sorry, Mark. Don't kick us off the platform. My
bird is screaming his head off. Okay, that is all the time we have. Again, this is to be continued. We will have more music reviews coming your way, I'm sure, in the future. So stay tuned. Check in every Monday night, 7 Eastern time here at the ranch. Oh, wait a minute.